Awesome. Okay, now we can share my screen. Now we're gonna share this. Got it. Okay. We're presenting. All right, coping with anger and anxiety. Here we are. So that's what we're talking about, is coping with anger and anxiety. So what is anxiety? With your cruiser or your little thingy up here, circle what you think anxiety is. Oh, we have one more person joining us. Hi, Bella. Thank you for joining. So we just started and we're talking about anger and anxiety. So yeah, circle what anxiety is. So I don't know who circled it, but whoever did, yes, you're on it. Anxiety is a nervous, uptight, uneasy, or apprehensive feeling. So you got it correct. Oops. Okay, so let's clear. All right, so circle stamp what you think some signs of anxiety are. Sorry, excuse me. What do you think anxiety feels, or how does somebody feel anxiety? Like, what kind of emotions do they go through? Okay, so muscle tension, heavy breathing, rapid heartbeat, sweaty hands, butterflies in the stomach. Yes, okay, so you're hitting on all of them. So yes, this is what anxiety is. Anxiety illustrates itself different for everybody. So I might get anxious and feel different signs than what you do. So for me, I know for a fact when I get anxious, I get like knots in my stomach and I get like a stomach ache is what I feel like. So you might feel sweaty hands, or you might feel like you're breathing kind of hard, or your muscles might tense up a little bit. So yes, anxiety presents itself very different for everybody. So good job, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna clear your drawings. Let's go on to the next page. All right, so what situation make you nervous? There's different situations that we all go through that makes us nervous. So what makes you nervous? And it doesn't just have to be this. You can type it in the chat if it's not on here. I know when I'm driving and there's a cop behind me, I get nervous sometimes because I don't want to get a ticket and I don't want my insurance to go up. So that makes me nervous. So yeah, the dentist. Okay, so the dentist can make you very nervous. Having all those drills in your mouth and them working on it. So yeah, so there's a bunch of different scenarios that make you nervous. So maybe taking a test might make you nervous. Confronting other people. I hate confronting people. So the fact that when I do have to confront people, that makes me so nervous. Like I have to rehearse the conversation in my head. And most of the time it goes better than what I expect it to. So yeah, so different situations make different people nervous. So like I said, what makes you nervous might be different than what makes me nervous. So what are healthy ways we can cope with our anxiety? So I get really nervous when they call roll at school because I don't know how people react. Okay, so yeah, so awesome. Yeah, so you get nervous when they call roll at school, right? Because you don't know how people will react when the teacher calls you by a different name. Yes, absolutely. And then you have to explain yourself. And sometimes you might not want to explain yourself. So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what are some healthy ways to cope with anxiety? How can we cope with all these feelings that we feel? Like if we feel nervous, we feel tense, we're heavy breathing, go ahead and circle what you think would help us. Do you think maybe overeating, like my friend over here is doing? Do you think that is a good way to deal with anxiety? Okay, so running, maybe exercising, right? Maybe going out for a run, kind of distracting yourself a little bit. Yes, that's a good way and healthy way to cope with anxiety. Yoga, yes. So Ellen, does mindfulness and yoga with you guys. And yes, that is a great way to release some stress and release some anxiety. Believe it or not, when you do some positive alternatives to coping with anxiety, you feel so much better afterwards. You start thinking about it, you think more clearly, and you're like, you know what, I shouldn't be so anxious about that. There's some solutions to it, because I know for myself, when I'm very anxious, everything just kind of crowds up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this scenario is going to happen, and then that scenario is going to happen, and I just like get so overwhelmed that I have to go out for a run and just kind of distract myself. So yeah, and listening to music, deep breathing. So yes, these are all healthy. So I put some unhealthy ones in here. So like sleeping Sleeping is healthy to get your, 7 hours of sleep, but if you're oversleeping too much, that's not very good. Or if you're undersleeping, that's not good either. That can make you more anxious. Of course, turning to alcohol and drugs is not the answer either. And overeating is probably not the best thing because I know sometimes when I get too stressed, I will overeat and I'll just stress eat. So that's not very healthy either. So, but y'all are on it. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So strategies to help with anxiety. So y'all all kind of mentioned it before. So yes, like practicing yoga and meditation can help. And Ellen does a great job at teaching you guys how to deal with anxiety and how to take deep breaths and how to meditate, how to go to your garden. So if you haven't gone to any mindfulness or meditation lessons, I highly encourage it. Deep breathing, maybe just relaxing, doing some yoga. Even like I've said before, mental rehearsal helps me. So maybe some mental rehearsal would help you guys deal with anxiety. So what is anger? Circle what you think anger means. Is anger a feeling of seeing red? A strong feeling of displeasure with an urge to fight back? Or maybe you just don't know and you just feel it. So what do you think anger is? We touch on anxiety and what anxiety is and how it makes you feel, but we haven't touched on anger. So go ahead and circle, check whatever you think anger is. Okay, so yes, a strong feeling of displeasure and an urge to fight back. So yes, that's exactly what anger is, but anger could also be seeing red. So some people, when they become very angry, all they see is like red and they go crazy. Well, not crazy, but they get really, really angry. So seeing red, seeing or feeling red is also a thing. And some people may not know how to describe when they feel angry. They just feel something like an urge that they can't describe, and that's also anger. So all three of these are correct, but y'all are also correct with defining it. All right, so let's clear your drawings. All right, so what are physical effects of anger? So all of these are actually physical effects of anger. So you can be very disoriented and just like this little red guy right here. You can be so out of the loop that you don't see, feel, hear anybody. You just see red and you just go off. Another one is maybe you can see it on your face. You turn red, or you'll start shaking. You'll feel sweaty and clammy because you're so angry. Your heartbeat, will probably rise, just like anxiety. Your heart will probably rise. And sometimes when you're angry, you just have to let it out. And sometimes you just cry because it's all you can do. So that's okay to show your emotions when you're angry. So what makes you angry? So feel free to type it in the chat box, but I put some examples here on what makes you angry. Bullying might make some people angry. Family and friends, I know you love them, but sometimes they kind of make you mad. So I get that. Situations going on in the world today, I know there's a lot going on. So that can make us a little angry and upset. So if I haven't mentioned it up here, go ahead and type in the chat box, what makes you angry? And some of us, believe it or not, might be cool as a cucumber and never get angry. So kudos to them, but I know I have a lot of angry moments whenever something's not really going my way, or I get very frustrated when something's not going my way. And I have to release that anger somehow. So what makes you angry? I'm curious. And if you don't want to type in the chat box, that's fine. If you rather just not say it, that's fine too. I'll just give you like a minute in case you want to share. If not, we will move on. All right, so if you think of something later on, type it in the chat box. So why should we control our anger? So this is a good one, right? So simple. You get what you want easier pretty much. And the other thing too is there's not a confrontation. You're not going back and forth with another person. When you're angry, you kind of tend to just kind of like blurt what you say, what you feel and how you say it. And sometimes some people mean it, sometimes some people don't. And a lot of feelings could get hurt when you're in the moment and you're angry and you just want to hurt the other person because they hurt you. So controlling your anger is huge and it's difficult, but it can be done. And the other thing too is when you control it, you can kind of communicate better with the other person or see the situation in another light. So controlling your anger is important. So how can you control your anger? So circle a way that you think you could control your anger maybe, or what could probably help. Okay, so deep breathing, yes. So deep breathing can help you control your anger. Going out for a run or exercising, yes, that could control your anger. The other one is crumpling a piece of paper. I know a lot of people tend to write like angry notes to a person because they feel so angry, but they don't send it. So maybe writing a note, writing your feelings out, and then just crumpling the paper and throwing it away. It might make you feel better. The other thing too is counting to 10 and deep breathing, and maybe just thinking about the situation and kind of looking at it in all angles. I know when I get angry, I just tend to look at it at one point of view, which is my point of view, and I'm always right. But I know that's wrong. So I need to start working on looking at other angles. Alrighty, let's clear the drawings. Oh. Okay, hold on, I got stuck. Oh, because that was the last slide. LOL, that's the last slide. So today we learned a lot about anger and anxiety and how to deal with it. And I know it's hard and I know it's not easy to deal with anger and anxiety, but it's something that can be done. And it's something that we need to work on. I'm not an expert at it. I never will be an expert at it, but I can work on it with all these different techniques. With anxiety and anger, I can maybe go for a run, write an angry letter, but don't send it. I can practice some yoga, get better at it, and maybe like come at it in different directions. So I know it's kind of hard, but it's doable. So I'm going to stop this recording. So I'm going to stop sharing first.